Hi all, welcome to next video. Okay, so in this video we are going to learn how we can create a multi-select drop-down in MVC. Okay, using a JQuery and CSS/HTML. So basically in last video we learned like how we can create a autocomplete text box. Hope you guys understood all the things. But in case if you have any doubt, like you can ping me or you can give me the queries. I will definitely work on that. Okay, so moving ahead, I already have completed this thing, so I'm just going to show you how it will be working. So earlier, like if you see, so I had created this autocomplete drop down in our MVC application. So I already have explained in previous video how you can implement this thing. See, the things are appearing here as per like whatever the inputs we are giving. Okay, so this is the main application CRMS MVC app. We already have a test application in which we already developed that multi-select functionality. So before going ahead, I just wanted to show you like how it will be appearing once you complete the development for the multi-select. Okay, so this is the test application. You can see that this is a test MVC app. So whatever the implementation I'm doing, I'm firstly trying to implement the things in test MVC app, and further I will be like moving those functionality to our CRMS web application. So for the time being, I'm closing this. So it's a test MVC app. So let's see how it is behaving once we implement the development. Okay, so yeah, so in previous application I already show you like we have only city name. Okay, so here we are putting some values and we are getting the getting our autocomplete text. Like if we putting NO, so we are getting Noida and whatever the city names containing NO. Okay, here I implemented one more drop down in which user would be able to select multiple countries. Okay, using a multi-select drop down. See here. So user can select one like India, he wants to select Pakistan, Japan, Russia, France, America. So user can select here a multiple options, and whatever the options user is selecting, that will be appearing here. See India, Pakistan, and Japan. And if we have a this I all the data is like dummy data, so like we may have a requirements like we will be having 250 600 700 800 list of records. Okay, so rather than like just scrolling down, we also can put some search option here, like in which like user can put some strings and he would be able to get the actual option. Like if we have a China, so if we wanted to search here at China, so we will be putting SCHINA and see China is here. So this option is coming because we already have selected these options. Okay, so I'm just unselecting all the things. Okay, and if I'm putting here like Canada, Canada, see here Canada option is coming. Okay, if I'm putting here Pakistan, see Pakistan is coming. Okay, so basically we are getting a multiple feature in this multi-select drop down. We have a search feature, we have a view feature. Whatever the list we are selecting, we will be able to see here. We have a checkbox feature, like we can select a multiple list by using a checkbox. Okay, sometimes what happening in multi-select, like uh, user is asking for like selecting by controls, like we are just clicking on the control button and we are selecting multiple option. But rather than I provided a checkbox option here by default. Okay, so this drop down we are going to implement here in this video. So let's go and start the implementation. Okay, so for the time being I'm closing this was the test application, and we will be implementing the functionality in our CRMS web application. Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay, so moving ahead, so what we are going to learn in this video. So firstly, what are the prerequisites for this select dropdown, and finding the list data with the dropdown, creating dropdown list. Okay, so what we are going to do here, like firstly we will be creating a simple dropdown. Okay, in which like we would be able to like scroll and see the options. No, we would not be able to select a multiple option. We will not be having a checkbox functionality. We will not be having a search functionality. Okay, so firstly we will try to create a simple drop down, and after that we will be implementing a multi-select feature in that drop down. Okay, so converting that drop down to a multi-select drop down, and a demo for that multi-select drop down. So what the steps we need to follow for this? So basically, for adding that multi-select dropdown, we have like some JavaScript like JS files, and we have some CSS files for that multi-select. So firstly, we need to find out those references, and we need to implement those references in our reference area. Then we need to create a model for that drop-down list. Then we need to create the drop-down, and then further we will be binding the data with the drop down and converting that drop down to a multi-select drop down. And after that we will be using a multi-select extension for implementing extra feature in that drop down. Okay, like that drop down, like whatever the features we are showing here, we can manage that drop down using this multi-select extension method. Like we can enable disable those features. Okay, so this kind of drop down we are going to implement. Okay, so let's start implementing this thing. So this is our web application, CRMS web application, you can see here. And currently, last time we have implemented some autocomplete feature, so we have some pending check-ins. So let me put those check-ins firstly. Okay, so okay, all the changes are staged now. Commit stage. Okay, so if we see again, we don't have any changes pending, right? It's blank here. So let's start implementing. So firstly what mm, we do, like whatever the references we require, so let's add those references first. So what are the references here? So I have added three references here for the multi-select. Okay, so these four references. Okay, so one is this main.js, second is bootstrap main.css, and third is multiselect.js, and the fourth is multiselect.css. And if we see here jQuery.multiselect.css, the same thing is there. Okay, so we will be putting this css part here over here, and the js part below. Okay, so let me take this part. So I would suggest, like you see here, I'm using the reference of URL phpcoder.tech.multiselect. So rather than using this references, like it's a dependent on the third party application for getting this multi-select CSS references. So what I would be suggesting you, like instead of using any uh, third party URL for putting the reference, do one thing: just copy the URL, paste here, and go to that page. and copy this CSS, Control A, Control C, and create a new CSS file in your local folder and give the reference of that folder only. Okay, so what will be happening in future if this application gets down, or this application deprecated, or this application is not available, this will not be impacting to our functionality. Okay, we will be having this designing and all the things available, and we can use that in our local. Okay, so currently I'm using this just reference because I'm just showing you the functionality. It's not going to be a long run kind of thing. Okay, so let me copy it first. Let's go to the CSS auto complexity. So currently we don't have a multi-select reference here, so let me put. Okay, so one reference is this, and this CSS reference, and any one more CSS is there, that is this one. So let's copy it and put here. So basically we added two different references for this multi-select. Okay, and now what we need to do, we need to copy this jQuery references, and we need to put the jQuery references here. So I'm telling you total how many references we added. Okay, so on this CSS I'm removing, we will only keeping the JS. Okay, so we added this jQuery min.js. So basically that will already be available in your system. This is there, you can see min.js. So it depends, like if you want to keep it, so you can keep it. Okay, otherwise you can use your earlier references. Just verify the version. You should be having like at least above then of this version. Okay, and this multi-select JS is required, so that you need to at least put in your references. So these two CSS references and these two jQuery references be required. Okay, and for the time being we already have this main.js, so we can comment this one. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm just commenting this references so that they cannot impact to our development. Otherwise what will be happening, like some classes like some classes will be available here in this main.js, and the same name classes will available here in this main.js, and whenever we are calling the class name for the like text box and for the other controls, so these classes will be like uh, giving start giving the exception because of the conflicts, like same classes are available in both the places. Okay, so I just commented here this one, and we added the reference for multi-select. Now what we need to do, let's create a model for that. Okay, like whatever the models we are going to use. So basically if you see here, let me back. This is the drop down name, select country. Okay, so it's you can say the label name, and select country list. Country list is the list which will be containing the list of data for displaying the data in drop down. Okay, and value name pair, like all the list option will be containing two values. One is value for the country and one is the name of the country. Okay, so it's kind of text value pair. Okay, so we are displaying the value in the drop down in a text value pair. Okay, so let's create a model for that. So currently we have just city details because we only are displaying the city right now. So let's move to models, and yeah, so this value name pair, firstly let's create so that we can bind the name with the value name pair. Okay, so this is a different class, so we can separately put here. and inside this model class we need to put the drop down name. Okay, so if you see, this is the list which will be containing the data, and this is the label name for that drop down. It will be okay. So what is happening right now? See, we will need to add a reference for this. MVC reference, I think, required. Yeah. Okay. So these two references, these two properties be added. And what can we do? This display name we also need to put. Okay, so we put the select country. So what this I already told what this annotation is doing. Like whenever we are giving display name select country, so the label will not be considering this name, the label will be considering this name. Okay, so rather than displaying this uh, kind of property string, the label will be displaying the this actual string. Okay, so we have created the model for the drop down. Now what we need to do next, um, we will be binding the data with the model. Okay, so currently drop down is not containing any data, so let's go to the controller. So it's autocomplete view which will be returning the view. You can see this is the same view available in our CRMS web application, but that view is not returning any data. So we will be binding the drop down data here, and we will be returning the view with the models. Okay, so this is the test MVC application. So you can see that these details are here, but if we go to the MVC application for the same, we will not be having any data. See the autocomplete text box, the view is returning but it's not containing the model details. Okay, so let's go there and pick up the values and return that. Okay, so if I explain about it, so you see the city details is the model for this view. If you see here, go here and go to up, and city detail is the model. Okay, so we can bind the data with the in a model, and we can return that model for the view. So let me create, so what I did here, I have created instance of the model. Then I created one list with value name pair, means the data is containing value and name, both the things. So we created a list with value name pair, and then we created a new select list item, and we put that, binded the list here. So what is happening here, so the list is containing the data. So let me show you this what it is. See, the collection, the data value field means whatever the selection you are doing. So what we need to pick, so that need the data field we need to put here. So I put the value. Like if I'm selecting the India here, so by default the value will get selected as a IND. And if I'm selecting Pakistan, so the value will be selected as a PKN. Okay, and text field means whatever the value will get displayed in your drop down. Okay, so what you want to display, if you have a value name pair, so what you want to display, like you want to display value in a list, or you want to display name in a list, and the selected value. Okay, so if you want to put in, you can put here like select all and all the things, or please select a value, otherwise you can keep a blank, no issue on that. Okay, so so let's pick this code, and let's go to the CRMS web application, and let me put that thing here. Okay, so the same thing is happening, like we are creating a instance of the model, we are binding the list with the country list that is created for our drop down. Okay, so it will contain list of data, and we are returning that model to our view. Okay, so the this time, like earlier what happening, like we are returning the blank model, like we will not be, we did not have any requirement for that model to return a value, but here we need a requirement, like we need to display list of data, so we are binding that data with the country list and then returning the model here. Okay, so currently I'm binding a hard-coded data, but if you have any service you want to call to database, if you want to call to any service, you can call that service, you can pick the data, you can, and then you can bind the data with this country list object. Okay. Okay, so the data is binded. So what further we need to do? So we have a data available, we have a model available, so we need to bind the control in our view. Okay, so control S, we added the reference also. So if you see here, currently we have editor for, like it was the autocomplete text box. Okay, so now what further we need to do, like we need a one drop down list. So drop down list for control, we need to have to display those data into the drop down. So let's go to here and see the context, we made the changes. So we added a two breaks here so that we can like identify some space between those text boxes and drop down. I'm putting control V. Okay, and then what I did, I picked this one. What I'm doing here, I will be explaining you of this. So currently I will be showing you just simple drop down. Okay, so this is the label for like what the value we need to display in our label area. Okay, and this is the drop down list we are using, the control we are using for the drop down, and the validation message, something like if we wanted to keep the validation enabled for our drop down, like if it is a mandatory field, so after submission if we wanted to show some validation something, so that we can do here. Okay, so I edit these two things, and after that I will be like in the next upcoming video we will be showing you the validation from these and the completion pop-up and all those things. So that's why I'm keeping this thing as well. And so see here the name of the drop down, the model dot country list, the list of the objects that will be displayed in drop down, the id for the drop down, the style I put here because I already like implemented, so it was since we are using column 10. Okay, right, so it's what doing, it's capturing around 90% area of a screen. Okay, so either we can like decrease this value, 10 value, or we need to put here the width so that it can be displayed as per the text box we are binding with the drop down. Okay, otherwise we cannot keep like the text box is displaying in one of six part of screen, and the drop down is displaying in a whole screen. Okay, so this class be added, so currently I'm removing this. Okay, and this multiple option I had added for multi select, so that I'm also removing because I just wanted to show you the drop down currently. Okay, so I think we are ready with the drop down, so let's run the application and see the impacted if the drop down is um, getting appear. Watch this one. taking a little bit time. Oh, come on, load. Okay, yeah, so it is got, it's loaded properly. Okay. Oh, all the options are coming here in the drop down. So it's kind of simple drop down. You can see here we can select the options from here. Okay, but it's not a multi-select. Okay, if you put control and try to select multiple, you would not be able to select the multiple option. You would only be having option to select a single option only here. Okay. Okay, so this is a simple drop down. So like we implemented the simple drop down here, and this is the select country label that I was telling, like one property we added for select country and the one property we added for country list to bind the data with this drop down. Okay, so the simple drop down is implemented, you can see here. So now we will be complete like converting this drop down to a multi select. Okay, so stay with me, let's try this how we can complete that. Okay, so currently we are not using any option for the multi-select. So let's say start using that. So what I did there for enabling multi-select option. So just I'm telling you. So this at multi-select of function. So if you put this one, you would be able to select multiple option from your drop down. Okay, so let me put it and I will try to show you like how it is behaving if you putting this multi-select there. Okay, control S and let's run and see the impact, but how it is behaving. So like what will be happening, like if you enabling the drop down for the multi select, you would be able to select the multiple option by using a control. Okay, but if you're not enabling a multi select, you would not be able to select what the things happen. Okay, so we did not put the comma here, that's why it's breaking. No issue. Okay, so now no issue. No, not. Compilation. Where is it? Okay, so you can see here the option, we are able to see the multiple options, and if we putting control we can like select the multiple option here. See, okay, so this is the implementation of multi-select. Like if we are giving the multi-select, we would be able to select the multiple option here. So now what further we need to put here? Uh, so this multiple is, we are selecting this multi so that we can like get the proper box for that design for the multi selection, search box and all the things. Okay, and so one thing, this class, and if we also need to put one JS function. Okay, so that the like we can enable the multi select in our drop down. So let me tell you what is doing. I will tell you what this function is doing. Okay, so DDL country is our control name. Okay, if you see here, if you see the ID, so DDL country is our control name, like drop down list name for this particular drop down. Okay, so if you see here, the multi-select extension method we used, where we enabled the search option, we used a size, like how much elements we want to display at once, and how much the like if we wanted to select option, so we can also put that option. Okay, so this this function, like using this function, we can like enable the multiple properties. Like if we wanted to put the checkboxes, if we wanted to remove the checkboxes, if we wanted to put any other control, so that we can use this extension method, multi-select extension method, and we can like implement those features. So let me run it and show you how it looks like. And if I talk about the design, so once the functionality is implemented, so whatever the classes we used, from the multiselect.css, so you can go to that classes, you can make the design changes, UI changes, like you can increase the width, you can decrease the width, you can set the max height, you can set the scroll bar. So all the things you can use the like by just changing some classes properties. Okay, like I shown you, like I used the max width option there. Okay, so max width is basically when you wanted to restrict the width of the control, you can use that. So if I see here function of 12, I show you. What is the name of control script object? See here, the whatever the script we put here, this script is not loaded here in JS. That's why this control is not displaying in a proper way. Okay, this is displaying in a box because we already implemented a multiple option, okay, in our control, but we did not given the actual properties or actual extension method for this multi-select drop down. That's why it's appearing as a box. Okay, so box means it's basically allowing for multiple selection. Okay, so user can select by using a control, but we did not enable the actual multi-select drop down here because the JS method is not yet implemented. So in this case, like if JS is not loading, what you can do, let's right click here, empty cache and hard reload. Okay, you see the JS is now appearing here. Okay, close this and reload this. So still it is not loading, so what we need to do, we need to reload this one. DDL country dot multi-select size true, include all option is true. Let's run. Okay. I understand why it is failing. Function of control P. Okay, so it is failing because we removed the references for the autocomplete, but we are keeping here the autocomplete. See here, the autocomplete is not a function. Okay, so autocomplete is breaking. So what is happening? Like if autocomplete is breaking, it's not allowing for multi-select. Okay, so let me hide that first. This one is breaking because we were using the duplicate min.js. Like we will be having already a min.js and still we are going to use that. So let me comment this and try that. Yes. Okay. Oh, so far. So that option is coming here. Okay, the same drop down. So we already have seen this thing. So let's, like, if we have this option, we want to search India, put the India here. India is coming. We wanted to search China, so China is there. We wanted to search Canada, so Canada is there. We wanted to search America, so America is there. If we selecting any option, so we are seeing the result set here. Okay, see, all options are coming. Okay, we are deselecting, so options are removing. Okay, see. Okay, so this dropdown is implemented properly, multi-select dropdown. If you wanted to, like, you want the changes, like you wanted to remove this dot, you wanted to make this the appearance more beautiful and all the things. So what you can do? So whatever the classes be implemented, like message box and all the things that already present in that CSS, the CSS be implemented, or the CSS be reference be added in our CS HTML page. I'm just showing you. This CSS. Okay, so what you can do, like you can copy the CSS part, and as I told, like put that CSS in your local folder, and you can make the changes. Like we have a message box option, how font is displaying, how the margin is there, how the width is there, how the position is there. Okay, so all the options we are getting, like we can change the font, we can change the styling, all the things. So you can just copy this CSS, you can put this CSS in your local folder, and based upon that you can make the changes in your CSS. Okay, and you can change the appearance of the control. That is not a bigger thing. Let me show you like how you can identify the changes. See here, like, okay, so I'm showing you the one class name. Like if you wanted to change the change for this, okay, message option there. So if you opening dev tool, and if you selecting this box, see message option there, all the things coming. So like if you wanted to increase this, see the impact, it will be showing you the impact. This is not border box column, see impact is there. Okay, so that changes you can do as per your requirement. Okay, that is not a big deal. Basically we need to implement this multi-select, so we implemented here successfully. Okay, so you try at your end, and let me know in case of any issue occurred, or in case of any challenges there. Okay, I tried to explain all the things, but still, like, there could be some challenges. Okay, so we implemented all the things, so these references are there. Okay, so thank you so much for the watching. See you on the next video, and let me know in case of any issue. Thank you so much. Have a great